Kidneys.
Dogs got kidneys, right? Pigs got kidneys.
Video game adaptations over the years have failed equally in celebrating the franchises they are based on, as well as in the box office. Time and time again, it seems that directors are unable to translate the gameplay and action of a video game into filmic form without diluting the original content. The film adaptation of the Doom franchise is one of the most notorious failures of this trend. In the original Doom games, you play as a Marine that is sent to Mars, when suddenly a portal to Hell is opened and the goal is to survive by killing all the demons that have infested the Red Planet. The atmosphere of the game is greatly enhanced by the metal-inspired soundtrack, which takes influence from Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, and Judas Priest. It was also a major influence in popularizing the first-person shooter genre in video games even today. Because of the extreme popularity of the game franchise, then spanning 3 games, fans were both excited and skeptical of the coming movie adaptation, featuring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It was to be directed by Andrzej Bartkowiak, a relative unknown, and released through Warner Bros. When the Doom movie was finally released in 2005, fans were right to have been skeptical. Spoiler alert, it sucks. Like, real bad. The film Doom turned out to be one of the most unsuccessful adaptations of a video game, which twisted its original material so greatly that it barely resembles the game fans came to know and love. The acting of the Doom movie was horrific, the plot had been mangled beyond recognition, and the beloved game soundtrack had been replaced with generic action movie nonsense.
It may even be reversible.
It's irreversible.
Not necessarily.
Dr. Carmack's condition is irreversible. Because Carmack's condition is that he's dead.
Though the Doom movie is a horrible adaptation, I should at least give them as many points as I can for being accurate to the game franchise. That is, before I rip the film to shreds. One element that the Doom movie kept true to the games is the inclusion of a scene from a first-person shooter point of view, in the same style as the games. Instead of the typical action movie third-person style that the film uses for the rest of the movie, this scene gives the audience a view from the shooter's perspective, in which only Reaper's arms and weapons can be seen, the rest viewed from his eyes. While the scene is slow and very oddly placed within the film, I have to respect it for the reason that it's even in the film at all. Another thing the film got right was how violent it was. The video game franchise of Doom received an M rating because of its excessive violence and showing of blood and gore, and the film keeps with this tradition, receiving an R rating as well. Deaths in both the games and the film are very graphic, not afraid to disgust the viewer, yet somehow thrill them. However, blood and shooting perspective is not all there is to capturing the essence of a video game. Most dramatically, the Doom movie completely changed around the plot of the games. The games are centered around the Doom Guy, a Marine who is sent to Mars as punishment for failing to kill a fellow soldier, and fights against demons escaping from a portal to Hell. Instead, Doom the movie changed the story to be about a team of Marines who were sent to Mars to help with a scientific experiment gone wrong. There are no demons here in space, just people mutated by an extra injected chromosome.
So what, they were just naturally superior?
No, not naturally. See, the earliest remains we found only had 23. We suspect this extra chromosome may be synthetic.
Bioengineered.
It's a long word for a Marine.
In addition, the perspective entirely changes, going from the first-person to third-person point of view. This changes how we as an audience can relate to the avatars displayed in front of us. Matteo Bettani from the California College of the Arts has defined an avatar as a hybrid liminal character oscillating between 2 dimensions, the game world and the real world. The avatar is a technologically charged doppelganger, formed through dynamic interfaces with the computer. Since there's multiple avatars to try and connect with, it becomes less of characters going between the real and fictional world, and more of us looking through a screen into the fictional world with no interaction. The music of the Doom games is so classic to video games that even people who have never played the games know the franchise's theme song. I can easily remember the soundtrack of Doom, but I have no memory of the music used in the soundtrack of the movie. As a metal music fan, I appreciate the effort that the original composer of Doom put into the soundtrack of the game. There are some very direct comparisons to certain metal songs that I'm honestly surprised they got away with. This makes me very disappointed about the film's sound score. The film completely abandoned the soundtrack of the games, instead using what seems to be stock music for an action movie score. The music is featureless, dull, and certainly not memorable. Lars Nyer of the University of Bergen in Norway has gone on to say that the sound and music alerts a game player to danger or opportunity in a game like Doom. It is because of this that the mediocrity of the Doom movie soundtrack is such a loss for it as a video game adaptation, as it takes away these interactive features of the game music. The Doom movie is an abysmal representation of the source material, and a failure as an adaptation. In fact, it can barely be called an adaptation, as the most the two really have in common is the name. Let's look on the bright side though. Maybe filmmakers can look at the Doom movie as an example of exactly what not to do.
Does it ever bother you could have spent your life looking in a microscope instead of a sniper scope?